failure, and she was violated by one of the workers at the hospital. Mother, she was a sister, she was an auntie, she was a grandmother, she was a person. She had integrity, she had a good spirit, and she had a great heart. After this incident, her condition deteriorated, and ultimately she passed away after experiencing one of the worst experiences of her life. So we're here today with my co-counsel, Chris Stewart and Deidre Fenwick, two of the most powerful trial lawyers in America, and our goal is to find justice in this case. So one of the most important things we feel right now is determination. Determination to get to the bottom of this situation and to get justice for Eva Lay. So I'm here today with some of her family members, including her daughter Zenitria and her son Daniel. And so what we're doing today is we want to introduce you to the family and also give you some more details about the lawsuit that we filed and the plan of action. So,
hello, I'm Zenitria Davis, and I have here my nephew, Christopher Davis, my cousin, Corey Davis, my nephew, Dontavius Davis, my brother, Daniel McGuire, and I have two other siblings that are living, Nelson Moon and Evangeline Davis, and a brother that, my baby brother that passed away, Daltavius McGuire.
Good afternoon, everybody. Why are we here? We're here for one of the most horrific sexual assaults imaginable. What I have found from handling these types of cases all across the country at medical facilities is that predators find places where the weakest are and take advantage. Whether it's a mental health facility, which you've covered a lot, that we have taken on for the sexual assault of children because they're helpless. And now we're seeing a trend with sexual assaults happening at medical facilities. And this is a prime example. This took place in the ICU where May was receiving care. She was sexually assaulted, having been there, I believe, 4 or 5 days, by the nurse tech. This is not just us making this up or assuming. This is in the police report. The nurse tech, who was assisting the registered nurse, told her on October 10th he was going to go next door to Miss Lay's room to help her use the bathroom. Odd behavior, not policy behavior. And this isn't just me speaking as a lawyer. This is directly from the police report. It stated that the registered nurse in charge of John Doe, we are calling the assailant John Doe right now until he's arrested. She stated that she remembered asking Mr. Doe to come assist her in room 40. He replied to her he would be inside room 41, hoping to take her to the restroom and would return to help her when he was. If she needed him, he would be next door. She thought, because the nurse tech never volunteered to assist unless requested by a nurse. We can stop there. A nurse assistant, he's going to go help an elderly patient next door alone. She thinks it's abnormal. She admitted it to the police when they interviewed her. And Grady still let him go by himself. But it doesn't stop there. He was gone for nearly 15 minutes alone in the room with Miss Lay, where he vaginally assaulted her, anally assaulted her, and orally assaulted her for 15 minutes. His supervisor didn't check on him. No other nursing staff came to check on him. Nobody wondered what he was doing in there, while Miss Lay was helpless. What makes it even more egregious is that the security footage showed the nurse tech go in and out the room after the assault with a laundry basket. He discarded the sheets, trying to conceal the evidence. And what this leads our legal team to believe is this may be happening more than just to Miss Lay. Hopefully, if this is happening, because so we're proud of the family members for coming forward and stepping forward and filing this lawsuit, allowing us to file it. Else. The evidence will speak for itself in this case, and we hope that Grady will just take responsibility for what happened and not put this family through years of battle. Because at the end of the day, Miss Lay, though her life ended 2 weeks later, the last memory she has is 15 minutes of hell instead of 2 weeks with her children. And now you're here from our daughter. Okay. She would rather her cousin read it at the moment.
I had a statement from the family in regards to what happened to her mother and my auntie. Our family is very heartbroken and outraged by the treatment Eva Lay received in a place that was supposed to care and comfort her. Instead of being treated with dignity and compassion and protected, she deserved the protection she deserved, Eva was taken advantage of by those entrusted with her well-being. No one should ever have to experience harm they're meant to find healing. We are seeking justice for Eva, not only to ensure accountability and prevent others from suffering the same pain. Her voice mattered, and we will continue to speak up for her until justice is served. That's from the family.
Any questions?
When and how did you all learn about the assault?
The family learned the next day.
Oh, yes, the family learned within 24 hours to 48 hours afterwards.
And how did you learn about the assault?
From Eva.
My mother.
So she was able to
Yes.
She was able, yes.
Did you tell if she was conscious or knew what was going on while the assault was happening?
Absolutely. I mean, she was under the care of the hospital, but she was alert and she was able to speak and communicate. She wasn't disabled at that point at all. She was she was able to communicate with her family, who visited her, stayed with her around the clock. So, in fact, the guy technically flirted with her at one point in time and made everybody uncomfortable, and that's why when they found out what happened, they immediately knew who they thought it was.
I have a couple of questions watching with Channel 2. We just got a statement back from Grady. Just want to see if we can get a response from you guys from what they said. In part, they said we were made aware of this allegation. We immediately reported to law enforcement. With their investigation, APD found no physical evidence to substantiate this claim, and they have deferred it to law enforcement. What is your response to that?
We also have a video statement from Miss Lay describing the exact incident, where he inserted himself, what he did to her in all three fashions. And there's also video evidence of him cleaning up the scene, taking the evidence from the sheets, getting rid of them. He also took, which is in the police report, a towel and cleaned himself up and cleaned up Miss Lay.
Can I ask you also, what do you know of anything in the status of John Doe right now? And have you guys been able to do your own investigation into his past? And finally, what is your ask of APD now?
Well, at this point, APD, I've been in contact with them on numerous occasions, and they are in the process of doing their investigation. I don't want to get into too many details based on that, but my understanding it is an active investigation, and they are confident that they're going to end up with an indictment.
Have you looked into his past to see if there have been past complaints of this nature before?
We have looked into his background, but we're not prepared to comment on that at this moment.
Do you know how long he worked at the hospital, and you did speak to the possibility of more victims?
I'm not aware of the amount of time that he worked at the.
But just from your comments, there is some concern that there may be other victims.
Yeah, based on my, well, I should say the detective that's investigating the case, he was adamant that he didn't think this was an isolated incident, and he says that these kind of things happen all the time, but they're often underreported or not reported at all. But they're operating under the assumption that this has happened before.
Do you know if the nurse and the John Doe referred to with Grady?
That I'm not aware of.
What did Grady have to say to the family or to you all?
I mean, other than that statement there, when I had a conversation with the head lawyer at Grady, his response was, we're just going to wait and see what happens with the police.
What does justice look like for you, for this family in this case?
For justice for this family in this case looks like, one, accountability, two, determining all the facts and circumstances of the case, understanding what went wrong, why it went wrong, and making sure it doesn't happen again, and of course, compensation.
Can anyone from the family tell us a little bit about Miss Light?
Yeah, she was a very,
And if you don't mind, when you go to the mic, can you also say and spell your name?
yes.
And those little.
My name is Daniel McGuire, Daniel McGure. Yeah, she was a very, joyful person. She had a good spirit. She helped a lot of people. It's like when she came from the hospital after she said she didn't want to be there no more, it was like her spirit was just broken. I used to try to talk to her. She wouldn't speak too much to me. I guess she didn't really want me to know, but I knew, so like, it was like she'd just shake her head and she didn't want to eat. I used to ask her, did she want anything to eat? She didn't want nothing to eat. It was just like she was broken, because I stayed with her, day in and day out. I slept right beside her every night, and it's just like it broke her spirit.
And she passed away a few weeks ago, so why is it important for all of you guys to be here today and move forward with this lawsuit?
Well, it ain't even really about the lawsuit, man, to me. You know what I'm saying? It's about my mother. Because, hey, money ain't going to bring her back. Or money ain't going to change the situation. That's how I feel about it.
How do you think this impacted her physical and mental health? As far as, do you believe that she could have, made it through, recovered what she was in the hospital initially for, had this not happened?
Like, my mother, she was a very strong woman. You know what I'm saying? She don't beat a lot of things. Like, in and out the hospital, like, when she had like a stroke. She don't had like 3 strokes. She pulled through them. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I know my mother was very strong. And I know if she had her strength and could speak out every week, she had her strength. Brother wouldn't even made it that far. He wouldn't even made it that far. Because I know she don't grab me. You know what I'm saying, before. And I know he wouldn't even make it that far. And I know she would have screamed out, but she was so weak. You could tell on the video she can barely talk. She was barely speaking when she was telling about the situation.
And so this is for the attorney. So you guys actually have video from inside the room or inside the hallway? Where's this video from?
The video that exists right now, to our knowledge, is the security footage from the hallway, which is cited in the police report of of John Doe coming in and out the room, oddly with a linen basket right after the exact time frame that she said she was assaulted. And we proactively took video recordings of her telling us about what happened that day to preserve her testimony in case she passed away, and sadly, she did. So her words will live on. Her words will be in front of a jury.
So why do you think an arrest hasn't been made then?
That's up to the police. You know, for all we know, they could be trying to make sure, because of the evidence that the assailants created, that they have a strong case. I deal with sexual assaults all across the country. It's not rare that it takes a while to collect the evidence or build their case. But we have faith in the police department.
Was physical evidence recovered as to the sexual assault?
We aren't aware of the progress in the investigation yet.
For the family, what is your message to whoever did this to Ms. Lake?
Hello, my name is Christopher Davis, and the message is, as you see from the photos alone, you see the smile on the left, the smile in the middle, and still a smile on the right side. What it is you decreased her smile a tad bit, and that should have never been the case. She was always strong, as my family always say. No matter what it was, she was always in her most strength, her most optimistic mentality. And for the first time, I actually witnessed her feel broken. My mom called me. She let me know her last words were, "Bye-bye, I have to go." That just shows how strong she was. At the same time, she could have fought, as my uncle did say. But she was so weak and somebody took advantage of that.
Do you believe this incident directly contributed to her death, to her passing?
Yes. There's no doubt about it. My grandma was abstinent. She did not want anyone to even touch her. Like, she was done with that. She had a husband that was deceased for years, and she only stayed with that husband for years. She taught all of us to be strong within yourself. She taught me how to she taught us how to be creative, for one thing. And it's just a small story that I can really just say. Like, with me being able to study psychology, like the pheromones of the people of the world, at the same time, temperature scaling, I learned to create scented oils that actually knows a person's personality. Because of her and being like helpful of my career, of my mentality, with my creativity, it helped me really see like what the world really can be. Some people can dive into something that's just disgusting. He was willing to do it. It's some people out here that's willing to do it. Like this case, there are a possibility of people who will be willing to do something so heinous. This is not false accusations. This is reality.
And what we want to find out right now is what, I understand the state investigation have they done? What have they turned up from looking at the surveillance footage? Did they find that Check was going in and out of the room with a laundry basket after being missing for 15 minutes? Was there any repercussions, or was it for a nurse tech going to the room of another patient unrequired, unrequested, and without supervision? So they can answer those questions for us also. Thank you.
Thank you for watching ANF Plus. For more breaking news, live coverage, and your community stories, download the Atlanta News First app. You can also watch us on YouTube, Roku, Apple TV, and Fire TV. To join the conversation on YouTube Live, visit our channel and hit subscribe. You can also listen to the Atlanta News First podcast by searching Atlanta News First on your preferred listening platform.